Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Happy hump day. It is Wednesday, January 9th. I think it's somebody's birthday. I don't know. I'm not good with that sort of stuff. Hey, whoever's birthday is today, happy birthday. This is the AskZena Radio show. I've got my sexy voice on today. That's because I was a little sick over the weekend and I'm feeling 100% better, but I talked too much. I was at the Clipper game last night and yeah. So don't call in. Don't ask me why were you sounding like that. Because I had to. My voice is gone. And I think I had 9 phone interviews yesterday for different people. And so I need to just drink some hot tea. Hello, hello, hello. It is hump day. You are tuned into the AskZena Radio show on the Good News radio station. Thank you so very much for listening to me, with me, joining in. If you're going to listen in to the playback, hey, I'm so grateful, so grateful. It is 2019, right? So what's happening with y'all? What's happening with you guys? What's happening with me? I got back from Alaska. I went to the North Pole. If you saw some of my pictures on Instagram, you saw that. Nope, Santa wasn't there, just the temporary Santa. And it was really, really quiet. It was cold in Alaska, but I had a great time with my family and had some really good food. My daughter-in-law made some tamales that were just very, very delish. So I am copying her and making my tamales this weekend. Every once in a while you'll get that, Hispanic accent. That's all I can do. Don't start speaking Spanish to me because I'll be like, no comprende. Hablan no español. I think that's right. No, maybe it's not right. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I want to talk about a lot of things. So we are going to talk about priority mail and how to find a job in a week. Did you hear what I said? A week. I have 2 stories to tell you about people that found jobs within a week of mailing out a priority mail envelope with a tailored resume. We're going to get into that in a minute, but you know me, I'm always about the Asians, right? Motivation, encouragement. That wasn't a nation. Manifestation. And I woke up this morning. So let me tell you about my night last night. First of all, I went to the Clipper game. Had an amazing time with 2 friends. We went back to the studio and we were hoping to see some sports figures there, but it was pretty quiet. We walked through the studio and saw the Dodger studio, saw the Lakers studio, and that was pretty fabulous. And so then I get a call around midnight that a friend of mine damaged their car. And they were just spiraling just in all of this negativity. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to go into AskZena mode, right? So it was like, okay, just be grateful that you were not hurt, that your car is not, severely damaged to where it's inoperable, but that you got home okay. But it's like the glass is half empty, the glass is half full, right? And so this person was just spiraling. And I get it. We work really hard for the things we have. And we certainly don't want to cough up any more money to make repairs that we weren't anticipating or that seem unnecessary. But those unnecessary things that we deem as unnecessary, it's just sort of life. Stuff happens. So you kind of have to look at, well, I'm alive. This could have been so much worse versus the front end of my car or the rims got messed up or whatever that might be. And maybe it's just too easy for me to say that, but I'm not going through the situation. So let me put that back on me. This week my car cut off twice. What happened today? I think I nearly hit someone because they were coming up a hill and they had all black on and they were jogging, and I was like, oops. Where did you pop out of from? So I'm not saying that to be, to be funny or anything like that. I'm just saying that life happens, right? I didn't hit anyone. My car did cut off. I got where I needed to get each day, and my car hasn't caused me any problems. Now, probably was just acting out because it was parked for 10, 11 days or whatever. But anyway, we just cannot spiral down that crazy rabbit hole because it's like this energy, this vortex of energy. And so a vortex, think about it like just sucking everything down, right? So we're either above the rim where we're not at the vortex about to go down, or we are going down really, really quickly. So I was on the phone with this person until probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. And then my spirit woke me up at 5:07 to say, you had to share this message. So I'm going to get into the message in a minute. But it's interesting that people tend to immediately look at the bad side. And I think I did a post on social media about this week that, it's very easy. This is going to sound crazy, y'all. It's very easy for us to sit in our pains. We actually are kind of comfortable in that space. It's like those comfortable sweatpants and sweatshirt and, those homey clothes, right? That you get home and you just jump into and you plop yourself on the couch and eat some comfort food, turn on your favorite show. It's that sort of comfortable. And why is that? You're saying, no, Zena, I don't like pain. I don't like sorrow. I don't like being in disappointment. Okay. So then why are you there? Why do you keep going back to that same couch? Why not put something else on? Those sweatpants have a hole in them. That sweatshirt has a stain in it. You may not have washed it in a couple of weeks. Why do you keep putting it back on? So I think the reason why we put things back on, or we allow them to infect us, is because we've navigated that place before. So think about a really, really bad time that you had, right? Maybe the car broke down. Maybe you lost a job. Maybe you got your heart broken. You navigated that because today is a completely different day, right? So when you were going through it, in the middle of it, you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. Maybe you used some substance, whether it was sex, food, alcohol, drugs, television, working out, jumping into another relationship. You use something to numb yourself from that pain. That's just human nature. And so you were able to navigate that pain. But did you learn anything from it? Did you learn what your lesson is or was in that situation? Because guess what? Life happens every day, every moment of the day, every second of the day, and it's going to happen again if you didn't learn. So I think the reason why we stay in our pains is because we know how to navigate them. It's like, yeah, that car was this, or it happened this way, or I totaled this, or I lost this relationship, and then we jump back into something and we start to see those signs again, and we're like, okay. So why is it that we stay in those pains? Again, it's a comfortable space. And so I challenge you to look beyond that and try to pursue pleasure. Try to pursue happiness and joy and success and abundance and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, right? And one of the reasons why I challenge you to do that is because you have the capacity. You know why you have the capacity to live an abundant life? Is because you've already navigated the bullshit before. Excuse my language. I'm just being truthful. Just being honest. Somebody needed to hear it that way. You've navigated it before. You know how to do that. Been there, done that. And guess what? Another day came about. So if that's the case, then another new day can come about with new opportunities, blessings, prosperity, all of that other stuff. I hope that makes sense to you. I really, really, really want to help people get into the right mindset. I get social media messages and pray for me and keep me lifted and this and that, and it's already a bad year or whatever that might be. And it really is. I get it. I'm not saying that life doesn't happen, but it's how we respond to life that makes it better, worse, or you get past it really quickly. Because here's the truth, is things are supposed to not happen to knock us down. They're to happen to us to help turn us around, to look at another option, another way. Nothing in life comes at you to knock you down. And so I hear some people might say, but I had cancer, or I had this. Well, those things are not supposed to knock you down either. But it's how you perceive that. It's how you accept that. It's what titles you wear. And so I'm going to go off on a tangent just for 1 second. Because when people get cancer, they always say, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to fight this. And I think we talked about this, or either I posted something about it. But when you fight something, what are you doing? You are posturing yourself to be aggressive. You are posturing yourself to go to battle. You are posturing yourself to possibly get hurt, get wounded, get knocked down, get killed, right? Because we don't know the outcome. Why would you do that? Okay, Zena, but I have cancer. Okay. Why not embrace that? Now, hear me out. Why not embrace that? Figure out what the level is and then release it. Did you hear me? I said release it. I didn't say put it as your title, Zena Contreras, has cancer. That's my new name. I didn't say that. I didn't say carry that as your scarlet letter. So I know that's going to sound crazy to some people, because they're going to say, well, you haven't been where I have been. You haven't been where I have been. Okay? One of these days I'm going to share parts of my story. Actually, no. I'm starting a web series called A Vow, Authentic Voices of Women. I started this group in Facebook, I think 4 or 5 years ago. We have about 330 members or something like that. And it's been a safe place for women to share their story. And we are going to do a web series starting in February. And we're going to lift the veil of all the shame and so forth. And so you will get a chance for me to share my story, at least portions of my story, because I really don't think that I need to go through a lot of that stuff. I just am who I am. I've been where I've been. I've gone through what I've gone through. And here's the crazy thing. I would go through it all over again. To be sitting where I'm sitting, to be in the skin that I'm in, to have the life that I have, to have the friendships that I have. So, and the remarkable people that are in my life. Last night I got a call from a woman who lost her mother and father, and she's an only child. And I've been encouraging her and coaching her, and she thought that life was really hopeless. And she stepped out on faith and found a job as a news producer and is moving on. So, wow. And literally within the last year, she lost her mother and her father. So life is happening, and you're going to that's going to be a theme that if you listen to the AskZena radio show, thank you for tuning in, you will constantly hear that, because I know. So one of my gifts that I have is obviously to dance around in a conversation. You have to follow me because I do a delicate dance while I'm having a conversation. But one of the gifts that I have is to know that people have it within them. So I can see someone and see the capacity within them. Don't know how that happens, but it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of stuff going on in my head. And so I have to give a shout out to my older son, my amazing older son, WM, who got me some earphones for Christmas, because he knows as I travel, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to tap into anyone's energy. I just want to be there with my gospel music and just be Zena. And so, thank you. I am jamming away, tuning everything out. And so, I'm looking at the logo for Good News, and, you've got this face with the earphones, and I'm like, that's going to be me. So, wow, synchronicity there. Okay, all right. I've been rambling on, but I just thought I'd help you guys understand. Look, life happens. It happened yesterday. It's happening today, and it's going to happen tomorrow. And it's all a matter of how you respond and how you take things. Everything. I mean, I've had breakups. I've had heartaches. I've had health issues. I've had financial issues. I've lost my house. I've lost jobs. Had difficulty with my children. Been a single parent. Have jealousy around me. Have people being real snarky and telling me stupid little comments or trying to sabotage me and my efforts, and my own stinking thinking sabotages me in my own efforts, right? So life happens, but I've navigated, such as you have navigated, many dark days to be in this moment right now. So if another dark day came to me, this is really what I do. I mean, truly, this is a technique that I do now. It's like, really? You gonna come at me that way? So I'm speaking to the universe, or I'm speaking to myself, or I'm speaking to whatever. But I'm like, you gonna come at me that way? Dang, God must really have something planned for me if you coming at me that way. And I start to laugh, because now the crap is just comical. My car stopped on the 405 in the middle of traffic. I'm like, ooh, nobody hit me. Pulled on over. And I'm like, this is not happening today. Press the start button, and boom, car started again. Got into Manhattan Beach, car cut off on me again. And I said, I guess you didn't hear me. That's me talking to the universe. I said, I guess you didn't hear me. This is not happening. Stop the car, put the hazard lights on, press the start button, boom. I'm doing what I need to do, and it's 3 days later, and what does it say? Whoop, there it is. I should be playing that, right? I was going to play some background music, but I don't know what happened. I'm still trying to work things out here. I'm not perfected. Thank goodness I'm not perfected, because that's all about the growth. Okay, All right. Thank you for tuning into the AskZena Radio show. And thank you for letting me rant on. At least I wasn't talking about the traffic. That's just a whole nother heated subject. So I wanted to talk to you today. This is our January series on getting prepared, getting seen, getting interviewed, and getting hired. Hey, job searches and jobs, people looking for jobs, it's really a seasonal thing. Why is it a seasonal thing? Because people do it around times that they think things are moving. So sometimes people find jobs, they start looking for jobs after they receive their year-end bonus. So we're right around that time. So most companies have done their performance reviews. People are starting to find out whether they received a raise, whether they're going to receive a bonus. That's typically the early parts of January. By February, if you're going to be looking for a job, you're out there. Your resume is out there. Jobs are posted. You're in the first quarter of most companies. If you're in entertainment, you're in the second quarter. So there are jobs that are approved. People are starting to look. They're putting their resume out there. They're reaching out to headhunters. They're working with agencies. They're turning in their resignations, blah, 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 blah. So that's one season. People start looking for a job after, they've received their performance review and maybe they didn't get what they wanted. And so they start looking for a job then. People also start looking for a job after tax season, after they've received their income tax return. Well, we know that season is going to shift a little bit because, Mr. Orange is playing this shutdown game only, so he can get more notoriety and be out in the news and blah, 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 blah. Don't get me started about that man. He needs help, right? Raise your hand. Hell yeah. I just had to say it that way. I mean, seriously, it's just a comedy act. Like, he really should take it on the road, which I think he does, right? So people start looking for a job after they've received their tax refund, which typically is like between April and like June. So that's another season where people start looking for a job. And then people start looking for a job after they've taken their vacation in the summertime. And then in September, when the kids go back to school, people start looking for a job then too. Because really by September, you'll know if you're doing really well or if you're up for a promotion or if the company is doing well or whatever. And so those are the seasons really that people start looking for a job. So I want to help you jumpstart that process, right? That process. Let's jumpstart that process. So you can go back and listen to, I think it was episode 2 or 3, where I talked about job search and stuff like that. First thing that I'm going to say, which was part of my rant, it's about your mindset. If you don't have your head right, I can give you all the job leads. I can give you all the tricks of the trade. I can lift the veil, give you all kinds of inside recruiter information. I can put your resume in front of a hiring authority. And if your head ain't right, you're not getting that job. Or you may get that job and be very frustrated on that job. Or you may get that job and then end up resigning or getting fired. I've seen it, I've heard it, I've watched it time and time again. So, first thing first, your mindset has to be right. So, I am going to give you the ingredients to finding a job really, really quickly. It's a little cold in this studio. First thing, have your mind right. What does that mean? I'm depressed. I'm not making enough money. I can't do this. No one's hiring me. No one's responding to my resume. You have to know what you bring to the table. I don't care if you've been fired for the last 5 jobs that you've had. You have gifts, talents, and abilities. You can do something. And so you have to believe in what it is that you do. I don't care if you're the best floor sweeper. Then take pride in that and, sell it like, I have been the custodian of this particular facility and there have been no incidents on the grounds because of the level of cleanliness. Did you see the romantic way that I just said, I keep the floors clean? Seriously, spin it in a way that is going to be very compelling. It is your brand. You're talking about you. Okay, if you're the best receptionist, let's see how we can spin that. Come on, Zena. My level of communication extends beyond the customer service or the meeting of guests. I'm able to communicate with all levels within an organization. I answer the phones at a company. I am the receptionist. But did you see I spent that? Like that was a completely different way. Would you be interested in interviewing someone who communicated that way and told you basically this is what I do? Because it is what they do. A receptionist answers the phone and talks to everyone in the company and everyone that comes into a company. All right. Okay, I'll take me. Recruiter, right? Seasoned recruiter, right? I have an exceptional background to exceed companies' goals and their vision for growth by developing organizations and identifying talent. I'm a recruiter. Did you see the way so it's just know what you do, right? And be able to communicate what you do at a level that people are going to be intrigued and want to know more. Whether you sweep the floors, whether you answer the phone, whether you're a recruiter, whether you're an office manager, right? So, first thing, be very, very clear. Get your mind right. Second, be very, very clear as to what it is that you do, what your gifts and talents are, how you can impact an organization. From any level, everyone is an important component in a company, whether they have 500 customer service people or you're the only customer service person there. So those are the 2 things that I think that you need to get right, and you can do that really quickly. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, and I'm not saying that you have to wear that hat every day, but you do have to get in the habit of having a clear mindset so that you can draw this energy to you. So I believe that we as individuals are magnets. I believe that I'm a walking magnet walking around on this planet in Los Angeles, in the Bay Area. And everything that I'm drawing to me, whether I'm just drawing a whole bunch of magnetic dust or I'm drawing to me opportunities or I'm drawing to myself just scraps and stuff. We are drawing that through our mindset. So don't get me started because I'm going to be on that mindset stuff for a long time. It really is phenomenal. And it's energy and I just love talking about that. Anyway, so be very clear. So what does that mean, being very clear about the type of job that you want? Basically, you can say that I want a job that's going to appreciate my gifts, talents, and abilities and be divinely compensated at a level that I am able to live the life that I desire. Did I say which job? Did I say which company? Did I say a title? Did I say an organization? No. Let the universe decide all of that stuff for you because I think I shared this earlier this week. I accepted a contract job currently where I'm at out of necessity. I actually stopped recruiting last year. I just decided to do a Michael Jordan and hang up my hat and stop recruiting, as I've built a number of organizations, and decided to just do full-fledged my coaching, and really looked at what I needed to do in terms of sustaining my lifestyle, and I needed a certain amount of clients each month, and it was tough for the first couple of months, but then I started to achieve that goal, and I could work from home in my pajamas and coach people and look at the ocean during the day and blah, blah, blah. So that was good, but because of necessity, I had to go back into the workplace. And I have not worked on site at a company in about 10 years. So my car would sometimes sit in the garage for months at a time and never get started. As a matter of fact, my mechanic in Arizona told me, you need to start your car because the gas is going to ruin your engine by just sitting there. So I accepted a job that I had to get dressed every day and drive 17 miles on the 405 freeway. If you know the 405, it is nasty. And go into an organization. And I thought, oh my gosh, really? This is just not worth it. This is just not worth it. This is just not worth it. I have been so blessed, have achieved so much, have learned so much, have refined my coaching skills so much in the last 7 months at this particular company, that now I have really created an environment and a space that supports all of my dreams, goals, and ambitions, and even my future dreams, goals, and ambitions. I had a wonderful woman come into my office yesterday, and we're going to chat this weekend, and she knows some amazing people, and I'm going to share with her my vision, and she was just so excited, so more to come. And then I met this wonderful woman, I'm just going to give her a shout out, Marilyn, who has become my soul sister. And she blessed me so much Sunday. So my favorite author, I won't go into many details. My favorite author is a man who helped me connect my spirituality with my humanness. Deep, 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 deep stuff. Deep stuff. And I was reading his books, watching his videos, and my friend told me that that is her friend. And I literally felt like, oh my gosh, like, you know, the 6 degrees of separation, that I know someone who knows Oprah, right? And I'm that close. I'm that close. And it's not that I had a desire or wanted to ask her to, you know, introduce me to this person, but just to know someone that you highly regard and you follow their work, and they have changed your life so much that you are so close to ever possibly knowing anything about them on a personal level, just really just blessed me so much. So that has been part of some of the experiences that I have had and have been blessed with as a result of taking a job that I didn't want to take because of circumstances that happened, life happened, that forced me to look at an additional a level of income or stream of income that put me in an environment that made me feel really uncomfortable because I had to get dressed, drive into an environment every day, clock in, clock out, be responsible for people, interact with people physically on a day-to-day basis rather than virtually or on the phone or behind a microphone. And in 7 months, it's just been an amazing experience. So going back to being very, very clear, just be very clear on the life that you desire to live. And know that it's a progression. So if you're jumping from 100-aire and you want to be a millionaire, just know that that's a little bit of a leap. And so your mind's got to be really, really right to make that, because with every new opportunity becomes more of a growth and more opportunity for you to grow and evolve. So going back, be very clear. So once you're very clear as to what you bring to the table and what it is that you want, then we can start to carve out this resume, right? And we can start to tweak and tailor this resume. Because here's the thing that will shift this priority mail inside secret life hack, recruiting hack that will help you find a job. You must have a tailored resume. Stop with the generic resume. Stop sending out a generic resume. I don't want to know all that generic stuff. If you are applying to a job, I'm going to tell you 2 stories in a minute. If you're applying to a job that you know that you are qualified and you know that you can do, then you must have a tailored resume. And since you're not doing this online, I would also encourage you to do a cover letter. So let me tell you about Chris from Florida. So Chris had applied for jobs within this organization several times. And here's the thing. So if I am in LA and I'm looking at resumes and it says Florida, and I know that I can't afford to relocate anyone, chances are I'm going to disqualify that person, because why would I spend my time interviewing that person or talking to them when I don't have the money to help relocate them? Now, that's subjective, because what if this person didn't want the company to pay for relocation? It just happens. There's so many applicants in the process. I'm only going to look for local candidates. So I'm trying to give you some insight as well. So he applied in Florida for a lot of positions and just wasn't selected. I disqualified him. I received this letter in a priority mail envelope. I think it cost $6.95 flat rate or something like that. And he had a cover letter and he had a resume. And his resume read like the job description. Now, he didn't plagiarize the job description and put all of that information in his resume. He pulled from his experience that was very similar to the job description and then tailored that resume. But in the cover letter, what he started to say was, hey, my name is Chris and I'm applying for this position and I'm open to self-relocating if you are open to giving me an opportunity to learn more about my background. This is an organization that I want to learn and grow. And I saw that and I thought, I need to give this guy a call. And then I looked in the applicant tracking system and I realized that I had disqualified him time and time again. But because of this cover page and because of this coming in like a tangible priority mail, I went looking for his application. And after reading that, I literally walked it over to the next building, gave it to the director, and the director called him. Within 24 hours, the director had spoke with him. He had spoke with people on his team, never physically interviewed. Now, remember, Chris is in Florida. Within 48 hours, the director walked back to my desk, said, "We've interviewed him. We want you to talk to him. We want to find out what he wants. And if he's within budget, we want to extend an offer to him." Within 72 hours, this gentleman had an offer and started his background process. Within 2 weeks, he was on site, relocated with his wife, his kids, whatever his situation is, and now lives in LA and now has a great job. So let me go back to the priority mail. The reason why the priority mail and the tailored resume is so important. So this is some inside stuff from a recruiter's desk. I've been in recruitment for 20 to 25 years, whatever. And so we have, an applicant tracking system where candidates apply online. And sometimes if I have so many jobs, so at one point I had 58 jobs that I was recruiting for at one time. So think about it. If 58 jobs that I have to look into every day, if they only have 30 candidates in there, that's a lot of candidates I have to look at. And that's why I have to have those 11 to 12 to 16 phone interviews a day, because I'm hiring people all the time. But what if, so 30 applicants in a requisition, that's a really low volume requisition. Typically, requisitions that I have hundreds of candidates. I have one right now on my desk that has 497 candidates, and I have to go through them because the company requires me to go through them. So do you really want to read that many resumes, go through that much information? No. So during the course of my day, the receptionist might bring me a package or bring me mail, or I have meetings and whatever, and there's something sitting on my desk. The normal human inclination is to look at the tangible before you have to go into sort of the mental, like you really have to be mentally ready to sit there for hours to review resume after resume after resume, qualify people to qualify people, then to pick up the phone, to call them, to schedule them for an interview. I'm just giving you inside information. So in the middle of the day, this priority mail envelope comes to me and I'm like, oh, someone sent me something. Because again, people don't send people anything anymore. They don't send snail mail. They don't send letters. They don't do any of this. So I open up this. I look it up. I look him up. I see that he's qualified. I look at his resume. I notice that I disqualified him, but he already removed that subjectivity because he said he was willing to self-relocate. Now I'm walking his resume over, and that's how this person got hired in 72 hours. So in the course of a day, recruiters have a lot to do. They're looking at people, they're interviewing people, they're reviewing resumes, they're having meetings. But if you, and I'm telling you, it works probably 99.9% of the time, if you tailor your resume to the job that you're interested, don't send a resume. Be like, I'm interested in the marketing manager and the marketing assistant and the marketing coordinator and the marketing generalist and the marketing director. Okay. If someone does something like that, that's just too much, because that tells me you don't know where your qualifications lie. If you're willing to apply for a coordinator, assistant, a manager, a director job, even though they're in the same department, are you a leader? Because a leader wouldn't be applying for a coordinator job. A leader would not be applying for an assistant job. So that tells me a story about your background, that maybe you were a leader and then maybe you had to jump into being an individual contributor. So then what happened there being an individual contributor? Like, why did you make that go from a manager to a regular person or a coordinator? Anyway, that's way too much information. But going back to the priority mail, I really don't want to make this too confusing or anything like that. But tailor your resume. Tailor your resume to the particular job. Okay, so some people, I don't know why this just came to my head. Some people are saying, but I'm qualified for multiple jobs. going back to step 1 and step 2. What was step 2? Be very clear on what it is that you want. Sure, you're probably qualified for multiple jobs. Which job do you want? Which job are you best qualified? Because you can't be all over the place when you're dealing with one person, meaning the gatekeeper who's going to open the gate for you to come in, right? So priority mail. Make sure that you tailor the resume. If you want to learn how to, I don't know how to find the recruiter's name or the hiring manager's name. I personally like to get my resume in front of the hiring authority rather than a recruiter. Because, again, a recruiter probably has a lot going on their desk and a lot of positions. And so it may not happen within that sort of week span. Easy way to find a hiring authority. So if you know the department in which this position will reside, so if it's a business analyst for information technology, go on LinkedIn and look up who the director of information technology is for XYZ company at XYZ location. Very, very easy. All you have to do is go to the company on LinkedIn and then click on I think they'd have who's employed with the company, and then just do a quick search. If you're not able to find that person there, here's another trick. Go to the website of the company, and sometimes they'll list their organizations, or even in their press release, they'll give names of who some of their leaders are. So let's say you can't find that hiring authority. Can you find someone above that person? Can you even find the president? Because here's what happens at the top leadership level in organizations. They do not read resumes. They do not read resumes. They just bring in a friend or a friend's son or a friend's daughter and go to HR and this is the person you need to hire for this job. That's how that happens. But if you sent your a resume to the president and you did it with a nice cover letter and it was tailored and tweaked for this particular position, what's going to happen is that president is going to give that to probably their assistant. Their assistant is going to walk it over to the recruiter or the hiring manager, and they're going to say, yeah, this came from, let's say the president's name is Keith Watson. This came to Keith today. Here's what happens internally. I'm obligated to now interview that person because their secretary is not going to tell me all the details Keith knows this person, Keith doesn't know this person, it's a friend of a family or whatever. But because this came from that executive's office, I don't know the relationship. So out of obligation, I'm going to pick up the phone. It's almost like an employee referral. So that takes you way above every other applicant applying for the job. Even that tactic takes you way above any other applicant who's applied for the job. So now you're in front of the gatekeeper, and the gatekeeper is obligated to open up the gate to at least let you come in the first couple of steps. And now at that point, it's just about, whether or not you can authentically communicate what it is that you do to get past the gatekeeper. So there are a lot of different, inside secrets, hacks, and where you can find a job, and we can talk about that. You can always reach out to me to Coach.AskZena at Gmail, and we can go through some of that. But today I just wanted to talk about the priority mail. So if you can't find the hiring authority and you cannot find the recruiter's name, send it to the president. And let the president send your resume down the chain of command, and then it'll get to the right person, and that person will probably give you a call if your resume looks similar to what they're requiring, what the job is. The other story that I wanted to share with you is about not so much about a priority mail, but it was a priority mail. So this woman responded to a particular position, and she sent her resume to me via email directly Sunday night. And that's important, and I'll tell you why. And then Monday, I did get a priority mail letter from her with a cover page and basically just some details about her background. So Sunday night, think about it, Sunday night, then Monday morning when I get into the office, her email is going to be the first email that I see because it's going to be the newest email that I see in the order of the emails when I go to open up my Outlook. So she then becomes a priority because obviously I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. And she introduced herself. She had a tailored resume to a producer job that I was hiring for. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. And so I moved it to the side, thought I'll give her a call. But then what happened, smart woman. Then what happened is she must have sent the envelope on Friday because around noon, Monday, I get this priority mail envelope. And it was a card. It was like a cover letter and a card. And the card was like, thank you for considering me. That's all she said. Thank you for considering me and this cover letter. So now I've seen this name twice for a producer job that I'm hiring for. So now I go in the applicant tracking system and I'm like, oh, she did apply. Oh, okay. I'm going to call her right away. I didn't go through the other 400 applicants that were there. So not only did she rise above every other applicant in the applicant tracking system and every other candidate, and even candidates that I was going to call, that I was going to interview, is because she had 2 points of contact. She was smart enough to email her resume to me on a Sunday night, which then populated in my email Monday morning. So that's the first thing I see. So then I see her name, tailored, tweaked resume, right? And then she was smart to send me this letter. She was smart to send me this letter on Friday, which then got to my desk on Monday. Again, priority mail. And I thought, now I need to go look for this person. She's intriguing to me. She's very interesting to me. I need to see if she's qualified for this job. Called her. So that was a Monday. Called her Monday. We had a phone interview on Tuesday. She was in our office on Wednesday interviewing with the director of news. By Thursday, she was interviewing with the VP of news. By Friday, I put together an offer for her. And literally when I called and extended the offer to her, she was like, I have never had this happen in my life. I literally was just telling my mom about you and meeting you and sending this information to you. And now I'm getting an offer. Within 2 weeks, she was starting in the organization. And so priority mail. Get the attention. Think outside the box. Do something different. Everyone is into emails and people want to be tweeted and they want you to find them on social media. But when you're in an organization, speaking from a recruiter standpoint, when you're in an organization and there's so much going on, the distraction of getting a card or the distraction of getting mail or something like that, I'm starting to lose my voice, you guys, really will have someone be very intrigued. And I always say that recruiting and finding a job is just like dating. So you want to intrigue the potential prospect, right? So you wear something nice, you look pretty, he looks handsome, you're like, that's interesting. I think I want to get to know that person. Same with recruiting. I see a resume, I see your qualifications, I'm like, that's interesting. I think they can do the job. Okay. I call the person. Okay, you go out on a date. The date goes well, you have great conversation. You're like, I think I'm going to call this person again. You see the possibilities, right? So I have a phone interview. You articulate your background appropriately. I think that you're even better suited for this position after speaking with you. I'm bringing you in for an in-person interview. In-person interviews, hear this, are typically once someone has validated your experience, and there's no fabrication there, but once someone has validated your experience through communication, through an interview, each interview is just about a company cultural fit. Can this person fit in this organization? Will this person work well with the team? Can this person lead the team? I know that they can do the job, but do they have the personality to do the job? Will they stay in this organization? Will they be challenging? Blah, 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 blah. Interviews are like a date. Are we getting along? Do I see interest? Is there potential there? I'm going to go on another date and another date until you seal the deal or you extend an offer, right? So I hope that you guys found this helpful. I'm really losing my voice really, really quickly. So thank you so very much. I'm about to close for tuning into the AskZena Radio show on the Good News radio station. I hope that this was really helpful. We will finish the series in January, and I will share some other tips with you. But that really is getting past the gatekeeper is 50% of landing a job. And so if you know that people are going to be hitting the job market, and you know that you're going to be hitting the job market, you need to do something different. I was in Alaska, and I took an Uber or a Lyft somewhere, and thank you, Keith. He's so amazing, such an amazing, supportive person. And the Uber driver, I was asking him how long he's been driving. He's like, well, I've only been driving for a little while, but I am trying to get a job at Wells Fargo. And in Fairbanks, Alaska, there's not very many employers outside of the military. And so I said, well, did you send them a thank you card? He says, no, I've got my second interview next week. I said, well, are they interviewing other candidates? He said, yeah, they're interviewing other candidates. I said, please, today, get a thank you card and send the thank you card to the person you interview with. Oh, I don't think I need to do that. I'm already getting a second interview. I said, I'm a recruiter with 25 years experience, and I'm telling you that follow through will make the difference. So I had to take another Uber ride, and I hope the guy got a job. I don't think so. Please. I'm not, I know what I'm talking about, really. It makes a difference because it shows that you will take the time to do something different, that you will be part of the solution and not part of the problem, that you will add value in an organization, that you can think outside of the box, that you can help people. What are you saying? Woohoo! Cool. Good. They told me yes, Keith. Thank you cards always work, right? All the time, work all the time. Not only that, it keeps your name in front of the person who is considering you. And I would rather have my name, even though I have a unique name, Zena Contreras. Even though I have a unique name, I would rather have my name in front of the hiring authority. Keith, actually what I do is Jackie, actually what I do is I have thank you notes already prepared when I go on physical interviews, so that the moment I leave, I can just put something personal in that, and then I drop that in the mail. Because again, I want to keep my name in front of them. There are other candidates that they're interviewing, but if they have a card on their desk from Zena Contreras, and they're interviewing other candidates, I'm going to be the first person that they think about. So if I've tailored my resume, if I've interviewed well, if I've been able to articulate my background well, that card says a lot. I know people that have gotten hired just on that card. And Keith, I think that you were talking about that. The next show that we do, you guys, I want to talk about the interview. I'm going to help you be able to ace. We did a show already about that, but I want to walk through some interview techniques. Again, this stuff is easy. The reason why people don't get a job is because 1, you're not clear. 2, you can't articulate your background. 3, maybe you're fabricating some information or you're speaking too much about something. And the other reason why you don't get a job is you haven't done your homework on the company. And here's the killer. People say, we. Well, we did this. We implemented this. If you're interviewing with an organization, they want to know that you are qualified. What value did you add to the organization? Doesn't matter whether you work with a team. They want to know what you have done. And so you need to not speak in we. When you say, well, we built this infrastructure. Well, we did this. Well, what did you do to build the infrastructure? Even if it was just a small, minute task that you did on a regular basis. Talk about that task. Understand that. Just lastly, I'm just going to say this. A lot of people don't know how to build a good resume, because they don't take inventory on a regular basis. You need to take inventory on what it is that you do. So if you're with a company for 5 years, you need to be writing down those projects that you're involved in so that you can talk about that, because that's part of your inventory when you go for a promotion or the next job. Oh yeah, they don't ask questions. We're going to talk about those questions, Keith, because one of the things about an interview, on how to ace an interview, is asking questions. So let's go back to the date real quick, and then I'm going to shut this down. If you're on a date, your first date, and all you're doing is talking, and you don't let the dude or the girl or the woman or the man get any words in about who they are, what they do you think that person's going to turn around and call you? If you're sitting there talking about your ex and all this, no. People want to know that you have a vested interest in them. People need to feel appreciated. It's the same thing at work. It's the same thing in a work environment. So formulate a couple of questions and ask those questions. I mean, when I interviewed with Keith, I asked you a couple of questions. I came with a PowerPoint presentation. So it's important that it's a balance. It's an engaging conversation. They want to know you. You need to know them, just like a date. So anyway, I am going to stop because my throat is killing me. I hope that I shared some valuable information with you. If you missed anything, you want anything, you need some help, reach out to me at Coach.AskZena@gmail.com. Share this with someone who's looking for a job. I love helping people. Follow me on all the social media platforms and check out all the other shows that we have on the Good News radio station. We also have sports, and hey, don't be trying to send me a message. There's a chat here. Don't be trying to send me a message. I'm not accepting applications. And this is just my sexy voice because I don't feel good. So funny. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Peace and blessings. I wish you all the very best in what it is you do. And if AskZena, Coach.AskZena can help you in any way, reach out to me. Let me help you. Let's help you get seen, get interviewed, and get hired. Thank you. Peace and blessings.